Update: I, 26 male, have always been the scapegoat of the family. Now that I got money, I suddenly have their attention. Original post: do you remember the stereotype of the oldest kids that are the victims of all the trauma their parents put them through? It kind of applies to me, considering I always was the one to blame for everything. They were nice for the first 6 years of my life before my twin siblings were born. Then suddenly I was the one they blamed for everything, and I was the one that had to learn everything by myself. It's like pushing someone in cold water so that they are forced to learn swimming if they don't want to die. My parents did the same, except that they didn't stop at swimming. I never got any help for homework. They wouldn't wash my clothes. They just put me in front of the washing machine and told me to figure it out, while they took care of my 2 younger twin siblings who are my sister and brother. If you think it's messed up that they haven't even told me how to do it, they also never cooked food for me too. They just said I should cook for myself. At 8 years old, I stood in front of the stove and cried and didn't know what to do. After half an hour of me just standing there and crying, they finally gave me something. This continued for my entire childhood. With my siblings, however, it went totally different. They spoiled them to death, did everything that I wished they did for me, and even cleaned their rooms for them because they didn't want them to try too hard. Unlike me, they also got pocket money. That was something I could just dream of. I hated my siblings for getting all this while I got nothing, even though it wasn't their fault. If my siblings did something wrong, they told me that I should have taught them better, like it's my responsibility to raise their children. I found a job at 17 and moved out as I couldn't bear it any longer. While life was hard, I finally was able to find a well-paying job, and from that, I started my own business with my best friend. It's a small IT company with only 6 employees besides us, but we make a really good money each month. We even have our own small office. I cut off contact with my parents a long time ago, after they said that I'd probably crawl back to them after 2 months because I'd be poor. Not only have I proved them wrong, right now I make more money each month than both of my parents combined in half a year. And of course they found out about my business. I already expected what they said before I even knew. In a condescending way, they demanded I give them 40% of my monthly income. They say I owe it to them for raising me. I owe those pieces of trash nothing, and I told them that. But they call and text me every day demanding more and more money. I just cannot stand the audacity of these people. But the best part is this though: a few weeks ago, my parents asked me via text message to give my siblings a job at my company because they were terrible at every job they had gotten so far. So I planned to let them do internship for a week, but figured that they couldn't even clean properly. My parents never taught them and spoiled them so much that they couldn't even handle a regular broom. Needless to say, I declined, and my parents threw shade at me again. I tried to block their numbers once, but they just changed them and tried contacting me again. I never planned to reconcile. They treated me badly my entire childhood, which unfortunately does not exclude physical violence from time to time. They do not deserve my time nor my money. I am more independent now than I ever was before, and I feel great about myself. I'm proud of what I achieved, and I know I am way better than them. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. You are making your own life. Maybe someday you will make your own family too, and the trauma of your upbringing will teach you how to do it right. I'm proud of you. Yes, I have a friend for whom this is true. She used her bad upbringing as a counter-example. Now she's an amazing parent and adopted us as her family. I am so proud of you for creating this business that supports you, but also supports the many other people who work with you. If I had to deal with what you describe, I would do as you have done. Keep being awesomely successful. It's funny how they spoiled these kids thinking they would be prodigal kids, and now can't fix their issues, so they try to force the one they neglected into helping them look like better parents. Law. Depending on where you are, getting a no-contact order against them wouldn't be a bad idea. Exactly. I won't help them with anything, and have also thought about doing something like that. Like they say, you've made your bed, now lie in it, and I think it perfectly fits. My favorite proverb is the axe forgets, the tree remembers. I'm so proud of you for getting out and working hard to be successful. Your happiness is the biggest FU to your parents. I think a restraining order is necessary in your case, just to be completely done with them. They don't deserve you in their lives. Take care, OP. We're all rooting for you. Very proud of you. I'm a 34-year-old woman with teen sons and 2 young girls, and I treat all of my kids equally. This wasn't so with my mom, as I have 2 younger sisters, twins, who were born when I was 5. Until they were born, I was the center of attention. After they were born, I didn't exist to her. In fact, she put me in foster care at 15 and kept them, and rubbed in my face that they got to do everything as a family that I didn't. And then I came into a lot of money from a car accident, and she suddenly wanted a relationship with me. And because I so desperately wanted a relationship with her and them, I fell for it. At 18, I had a ton of money, and when it ran out, suddenly I didn't exist again. So I went no contact. I struggled, but I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and going no contact with them has been the best decision of my life. Good job for starting your own business, and don't let them bring you down. You got this. And unlike my mom, you sound like an amazing mother. Now for the updates. I want to let you know that you convinced me to get a restraining order. I don't know if this really helps because I know them too well, but it's worth a try. Thanks all of you. Full update 2 months later. It's been 2 months since my original post, and many of you asked for an update, and maybe it's time for that. Actually, many things happened during this time. The real significant thing is that, after I refused to help my parents, they actually started doing literal propaganda against me to my siblings. I don't know what they tried to achieve there, as I didn't give a damn about what my siblings thought about me, but it still only shows their true nature. However, my sister recently visited me in the office. Unlike her brother, she didn't fall for our parents' lies, and she told me that she isn't dumb, and after failing many attempts to step into adult shoes, she realized what they had turned them into. She asked if she could stay with me. She asked if I could give her some sort of a 101 in life. Her brother should probably get something like this too, but he's too stubborn. The thing is, I don't hate my siblings. It's not their fault they were born into this family, and it's not their decision that they were treated the way they were. Just imagine the amount of humiliation for both parents if I am the one to fix what they had messed up. So I decided to help her. She is old enough to decide this for herself, but I told her that the moment she brings up my money, I would throw her out in an instant, just in case this is just another attempt of them trying to get money from me. But I don't think it is, because they wanted her to stay with them again. And when she refused, they called her a traitor, like she changed sides with their worst enemy or something. And I don't know why that amuses me so much. She did learn a few things pretty quickly, and I guess soon she is able to be fully independent. But as for her brother, my younger brother, he is so focused on his parents and still believes all their lies, so I have almost zero hopes for him. By the way, before anyone asks this, I thought about getting a restraining order, had no idea how hard it is to get one where I'm from. So I blocked their numbers, and when it didn't work, I got a second number. They are currently spamming the second number, and I enjoy the peace on my original phone number. To end this, I'd like to thank all of you for your support. I even got many DMs about people asking for jobs. That gave me a good laugh as well, but jokes aside, we have a complete team and currently aren't looking for more employees. How's your business as of late? Pretty good, to be honest. Success is always the best revenge. What if she asks how to handle financials? That's something they woefully do not teach in schools, and few people ever think to ask their parents. That's a different thing. If she brings up how to handle financials, that's okay, because that's a good thing to know. But in order to do that, she doesn't have to bring up my financials. This line will get blurred if you use yourself as an example when teaching her. There's nothing wrong with being open about finances. That depends on who brings it up. I have to assume that what she is doing could just be another attempt of my parents to take my money. If I bring it up to teach her, that's okay, but if she brings it up, I have to be careful. Congrats on your success. You don't owe anyone and you made your future happen. I hate that your parents think you owe them for raising you. Excuse me. They chose to become parents, and that comes with basic responsibilities. Not only that, they gave you bare bones, minimal basic childhood, and treated you poorly. And now your parents expect you to give them 40% of your earnings just because you're wealthy now. GTFO. Entitlement right there. Last story. My sister is infertile and I'm glad. I, 28 female, have an older sister, Angela, 30 female, whom I have never liked. She always had to compete with me, but never in a normal sibling rivalry way. Our entire life she always seemed resentful of my existence, as the spotlight couldn't perpetually shine on her, so she had to step on everything I enjoyed. So if I learned piano, she had to learn piano. If I excelled at a subject, she suddenly became a scholar in it. If I told my mom I had a crush, Angela would be dating that boy in a week. I would always tell my parents when she did this, but I was ignored, because sisters copy each other, and I can't gatekeep what she likes. She always monitored what activities I did and the clothes I wore, so she could outdo me. If I wore a flannel, Angela would come to school wearing an all-flannel dress. It was 2010 and that was peak fashion in our school LMAO. There was also more praise that followed Angela. Even if I took the initiative to begin the activity first, she was praised because she was better. My parents would miss work to attend her dance recitals, going to every single one, because the world would stop if they missed it. However, I remember maybe 2 of mine they attended, because they were stuck at work or were otherwise preoccupied. Angela reveled in this. She would make comments under her breath around our parents. Whenever our parents weren't around, she'd tell me how much she hated me and how I should stop trying because I would always come second to her. She also physically bullied me in school. Angela purposely tripped me, threw things at me, and hit me in the hallways on a nearly daily basis. The school had gotten involved multiple times, threatening Angela with suspension, and my parents fought it every time. My parents repeatedly told administration that this was a family matter and we were just bickering like normal sisters. She was never once reprimanded by either parent. Once, Angela was caught impaling a cat on the school fence, and my parents still defended her, saying this was normal teenage behavior. But I often was in trouble as Angela would start crying, saying how she was being targeted by the school when I had antagonized her. After one of these occasions, Angela cut and bruised herself to prove to Dad that I was the aggressor. I became a pariah due to Angela's malicious rumors about me, so it was difficult for me to make friends, so I resorted to only befriending people from other districts. Angela eventually made sure I had nobody by stalking them, befriending them, telling all my friends lies about how I was favored by our parents, and I constantly bullied and belittled her. She even stole boyfriends of mine doing this, convincing them I was horribly mean and an awful person that copied her every move. Once she catfished me on MySpace for 4 months and baited me into sending her nudes, which she proceeded to send my parents and everyone in school, including teachers. Later on, she told one of the boys I liked that those were actually her pictures and I had catfished her. The day of my high school graduation, my mom sat me down and told me Angela revealed the horrid harm she'd suffered at my hand, and I was no longer welcome in their home. After moving out the next day, my parents made very few attempts to communicate with me, only the occasional holiday and birthday text. All financial help was also abruptly ended as soon as I stepped foot on campus. I met my now husband shortly after this, and we were married within a year. They did not feel inclined to attend my wedding or even congratulate me. I even informed my parents when I had my first child 8 years ago as an opening, but they have made no attempt to contact or meet any of my 3 children. Best I know of Angela now from what I've heard is that she got married to one of the boyfriends she stole from me in high school, and she's been posting about her infertility issues and how she can't offer my parents their first grandbaby. After years of silence, I received a text at 8 this morning from my mother that I will copy and paste below. "Hey OP, it's me, your mama. We haven't talked in a while and I surely miss you terribly. I wanted to let you know that your sister just had a miscarriage earlier this week. Angie and Justin are struggling a lot right now, so send something a little sweet her way. I'm sure she'd appreciate it. Get back to me. I love you." I hate to say it, but I'm glad she's suffering. I'm glad she doesn't get to be a mother. If she tormented me for years, what would she do to a child? Especially a girl. I don't wish death on any baby, but I know in my heart that child would be damaged by her. I'm angry at my parents for expecting me to have any sense of obligation to her, when I don't even have any sense of obligation to them. They always believed her and dismissed me. I was always the problem child, and it's strange how my mother can be so warm to me when asking me to do something for my sister. Also, the fact they cared more about my sister's now dead fetus than my actual children, who wonder why they only have one set of grandparents. I feel some sort of guilt for it, but I refuse to offer any condolences to my destructive narcissistic sister, who has been justified in her bad behavior since birth. Maybe this will change her, help her develop empathy or any type of emotion that isn't hate or vindictiveness. If that happens, I would be more than willing to offer support, but until then I feel nothing but a small inkling of happiness that she's hurt. Am I awful for this? Now for the comments. Don't exist in that place anymore. Your mother didn't even ask about your kids, and it almost sounds like she wants to make Angela feel better at your expense. None of them should be able to contact you at this point. They should be blocked everywhere. It's not worth the upset, and this level of animosity takes a toll on you whether you realize it or not. Schadenfreude is one thing, but this is something else. If you haven't had therapy already, get some. Of course her mom didn't ask about her kids. She doesn't even know they exist. They've been radio silent for years. Shows how little mom knows or even cares about her daughter. Didn't she try to invite her mother after her first child was born? Pretty sure she knows they have grandkids. The parents just don't acknowledge them as theirs because they aren't from the golden child. OP is better off without any one of them. No. And you should report her pattern of behavior with every adopting agency you can think of. This isn't the time to wonder if you are the bad guy. It's time to both save bunches of kids and ruin her life. Right. I was thinking the county needs to know, so she can't adopt or foster through DCFS too. I'm glad too. She sounds awful. I hope she doesn't adopt. Personally, I would block them all and continue living my best life. The only thing those kinds of relationships are good for are from medical history. Honestly, that impaling a cat on the fence at school sounds like the start to psychotic or psychopathic behavior, and she should have been put in a mental hospital as soon as that was discovered. You sound like you are growing into a lovely family over the years, so try not to let those awful people into your life or the life of your family. Never look back.